Obviously, I want the Jumpman hoodies. I want everything.
You.
UNC, let's go. Adopt me. All right, anyway.
Adopt me.
Yeah, I want to be adopted. I'm not giving up Wisconsin. I can have natural parents.
I might got some pull there.
I support Belichick like crazy. I pepper Jeff. Jeff gets so annoyed because in the green room, I'm like, what do you think about Belichick? What do you think about Belichick? It's like, all right, I got to go to work. I got to go to work here. Big picture question that I know that you're hot on, and I want you to get into this before we get into any of the on-field stuff. Coaching interviews now in the NFL. Go ahead on this.
Hate it.
Go off on it.
Hate it. Why don't we just say no interviews until the season is over? February, whatever, when the final game is played. We all know enough is going on behind closed doors. We got agents, no GMs, like all that stuff is going on. But this process that Aaron Glenn and Ben Johnson just went through leading up into this game, and I forget how many teams each guy did, but like 5 or 6 teams. And I'm just going to tell you, and the amount of time, energy, and effort put into these they're exhausting. They are you got to put it all in because ultimately this is your goal. You want to be a head coach. And so you're going to put all that kind of time in, and it for whatever you think, and I'm not saying these guys, I'm not trying to question because everybody has to do this when they get the opportunity. But, man, I hate it because it affects the players who are going to be on this team next year, right? And you don't play your best or you don't perform your best. And I'm not saying you can attribute it to just that, but I know by the time they got to the game, they're exhausted. I do know that. So no other way around it. I just hate it. I wish the league would just say nobody's getting interviewed until the final day, till Monday after the Super Bowl, and then let the works begin, dude. You got a month until the season. You got plenty of time to go. Not much is changing in 4 weeks like that. So go make it happen.
So, Jeff, we do have to talk about the hire that was reported yesterday with Ben Johnson going to the Chicago Bears. They were finalizing an agreement before he even steps foot in the building. Caleb Williams gets the head coach he wanted. Bears fans got the head coach they wanted. What did you make of the hire?
Listen, I don't know if he's going to be ultimately successful. They're in a very tough division. I will say this about it, though. It was a must for the Bears. So I don't think they could have went anywhere. They've gone defense. It hasn't worked out. They've done a poor job developing quarterbacks. The last 2 high draft picks. They gave themselves the only pick I thought was going to make sense. Go get Ben Johnson. Go get him with Caleb Williams. How can we figure this out? Now, all that being said, and I said this about Mike McCarthy, I'm going to say this about Ben Johnson. The difference between a coordinator and a head coach is massive. With where Caleb Williams is in his development, I think it's going to be very difficult for the, quote, play caller, coordinator, to be working with him in the meetings as you're the head coach. So if it's Mark Brunell's going to come with Ben Johnson from Detroit, whoever he gets, that's going to be the most important hire. Because I was in Green Bay with McCarthy. He had Tom Clement, who would go in there and sit with Aaron and go through like the meetings and all those kind of things. As a first-time head coach and a second year who's now on his 3rd offensive coordinator, quarterback, this is tough. Like there's nothing easy about this. And so I'm very interested to see the intricacies of who gets hired and why to help Caleb Williams. Because the bottom line is Caleb Williams has to play in structure. And he's going to have to figure out timing of throws, timing of offense. You can't take sacks. They are drive killers. All of that has to be said. And when you're off having to take care of head coaching responsibilities, it's hard to get into the why of plays. And so that's the only part that but I think he's a great hire, and I think the Bears did. They got the most coveted coach in this cycle, and if you're the Chicago Bears, that's exactly what you wanted to do.
Well, let's go back to the Lions for a second, Jeff. So they lose Ben Johnson, their offensive coordinator. It feels like Aaron Glenn, their defensive coordinator, is going to be out the door probably today. Yep. How is this going to impact the Detroit Lions? Do you think that they'll be able to reload, or do you anticipate they'll take a step back?
I don't think they're going to take. Let me tell you why. They're foundationally built correctly. They have a fantastic offensive line. They when Hutchinson comes back, they'll have a very good defensive line that actually got better inside the tackles. They got better. They went through a number of players on their back end that Aaron Glenn had to kind of make patchwork with. So they have a lot of players that play. They have 2 explosive guys on the outside. They have running backs. They had a quarterback who's seasoned. Everything is there, but Dan Campbell is going to have his work cut out for him getting coordinators, and maybe that's what he does to Brunell, right? Hires him so he doesn't leave. But whatever Dan Campbell does, the foundation is built right in Detroit. So I don't think they take this massive step back.
We're talking with Jeff Saturday, ESPN NFL analyst here on Unsportsmanlike, presented by Progressive Insurance. Right before you came in, we were talking about Lamar Jackson, the future with the Ravens, and then who this run kind of resembles. Joe Fortenbaugh, our teammate, said Chargers in the 2000s, right? CC brought up.
They beat us a few times, so I feel
well, CC brought up your Colts teams prior to winning the Super Bowl, which I very much agreed with because Lamar is just significantly, in my mind, better than Phillip Rivers. I'm not trying to be insulting. I just think he is. This Ravens run reminds you of?
Yeah, the Colts. Yeah, there's no doubt. I fully agree. CC, that's what you said. Yeah, and the amount of, I'm not sure the right word, blame that goes to the quarterback. Yeah. As opposed to everybody, team-wise, is very similar to what happened in Indy. I mean, it all became Peyton can't do this, Peyton can't do that, right? It all became those things. And so it likens it very much to the Indianapolis Colts that I played for. So, I think that for whatever you think of Lamar Jackson, love him, hate him, whatever your thoughts are on him, he is going to shoulder the blame, irrespective of how much is actually deserved each time.
Jeff, yesterday, Damian Woody said that Jayden Daniels has played the best of any quarterback in these playoffs. Do you agree with that statement, and how do you put into words what you've seen from Jayden Daniels this postseason?
Yeah, remarkable what he's done, so I'm not trying to take anything away. The need for the command for him to play that well is much different. Like Josh Allen, what did he throw for 120 yards?
Yeah.
But the other team,
he managed the game,
manage it up, right? Yeah, Mahomes same way, right? So there's not an ask, right? If you ask those quarterbacks to do the same, but that was the ask of Jayden Daniels, and so I think to Woody's point, like you look at number wise, he's lit it up, and going into Detroit and doing what he did, he's playing fantastic football, an incredible turnaround. But if you got Saquon Barkley, whether you love it or don't, Jalen Hurts ain't got to go do that.
That's true.
And you know what I mean? And neither does Josh Allen, right? Yeah. If the way Cook is playing, that offensive line is playing, you don't got to go do it. And so I say this all the time. And this is my favorite playoffs that I've been a part of as an analyst because it's been about trenches, and that's the bottom line. You can love it, and I love it, and you can be upset talk about quarterbacks all you want. The bottom line is games are decided in the trenches in these playoffs, as they always are, but it's mostly noted now, and so I am fired up for it, and it's been fun to watch. But Jayden Daniels has had a historic rookie year.
That might have been a little bit of a hint.
Oh, I just changed my pick.
I have mine down. Evan CC, write down your answers here. Jeff, as always, please pause for production.
Let's go.
It's time for the Bro of the Week.
Bro. That's where we are, people. Bro.
This is Bro of the Week.
What's Jeff Saturday's Bro of the Week?
Bro of the Week.
With Jeff Saturday.
Bro. Jayden Daniels.
Yeah.